That's right, me and Juno drink in tandem. Come here, puppy. Come here. Come here. Want to pause up? No. Okay, see you later. Hi everyone. Just waiting for Juno to settle. Welcome back to Pretty Thoughtful blog, video, whatever we're calling this. So, I put a quiz thing on Twitter. I don't know what we call those. I have multiple choice. It's not even early in the morning and I've had 3 cups of coffee, so I can't blame my brain fogginess on anything other than just me being me. But I asked my Twitter followers, or like 4 of them, what they wanted to see in this week's video. And there were 4 options, but I can't really remember what they were. And the one that was chosen was my 2020 reading list, so what I've read this year. And I thought that was a great one to pick. And I'm glad that that one was picked because I feel like this is a really important thing to talk about. Not important as in important, but just a kind of important thing to talk about, because this year I have read a total of 3 books and 1 audiobook, which is, for me, insane. Just the most insane. Ever since I was like 10, I've read at least a book a month throughout my life. I've always been a reader, I've always read continuously. And this year, for obvious reasons, things changed. So I read 3 books and then listened to an audiobook, and then found that I couldn't read or listen to anything. Like, I'm halfway through an audiobook, which I started months ago. I just couldn't keep up. I just didn't feel like reading was the thing that I wanted to do when I sat down to do nothing. Because I kind of found like I wasn't just sitting down to do nothing. As if I'd consider reading nothing. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just thought it was an important thing, because I know I follow so many book accounts and reading accounts and bookstagram accounts on Instagram, and I follow a few on YouTube, not that many because it's too much. I find that people tend to read competitively, which freaks me out. But on Instagram, excuse me, you know, I see people listing the books that they've read in a month, and they're like 5 or 6 books deep, and I don't know, it just kind of makes me feel like, for the people who haven't been able to do that this year for whatever reason, makes you feel a bit rubbish. So I was really happy to do this video and just tell you, if you are the sort of person who reads a lot and you haven't read a lot this year, that it's cool, don't worry about it. But I still want to talk about the books that I have read, because this is going to help this be a short video. And so yes, that's what we're gonna do, because I'm still happy I read them. I just wish that I had read more, because my TBR pile is like over here. You can't see, it's out of frame, but there's like 8 books, and then I have about 20 audiobooks, and I also run a bookshop and thus have hundreds of books in my office which I could read. So blah, let's just get into it. I read this book, which was by an independent author who I stumbled upon on Twitter, and a lot of authors on Twitter will drop the links for their books and stuff like that, because that's good marketing and I never do it. So I saw this and I thought it sounded really cool, and it's like a book of short stories, and I loved it, and I would highly recommend if anybody was looking for kind of dark, very like humour-filled, demonic sort of stories, and kind of like really dark fantasy, but also a little bit sci-fi, kind of Philip K. Dick type of darkness, then I would really recommend picking this up, by Chris Farnell, and it's called Dirty Work. It's only small, but highly recommended. I really liked reading that, and it really gave me that kind of like that desire to be able to write short stories, but I can't. So yes, but highly recommended. I also read the second novel in the Name of the Wind trilogy. I think it's going to be a trilogy. The third book's not out yet. The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, which was so good. Probably one of the best books that I've ever read. The first book was amazing, and this second book was just like I said, like one of my favourite books I've ever read, and I can't wait to reread this series. I might actually reread it again this year just to get me back into reading. But if you've never read the first one, which was Name of the Wind, I highly recommend picking it up. They are crazy, like not big books, but they are big books for some people. And they are kind of big epic adventure books, and all about magic and like dark fairy tale kind of things, Lord of the Rings kind of exploration and all of that jazz. So couldn't recommend that book enough. And then I read the second installation in the Scythe series. I'm sure these series have names, but I never remember series names. Thunderhead, and I believe the third book of this is out. I know it's out, but I'm really slow to catch up on book series. So I read this one, which is the second one, and I have to say, didn't particularly like this book that much. I read it, but it took me a long time to get through it, and I just didn't think it held the same excitement as the first book. I know it's a bit of probably a bit of a controversial thing to say to some people who seem to love this series, and I really did love the first book, but this book was a bit there for me. But I just didn't particularly like the characters as much, and I didn't like the storyline as much, and I didn't really care what happened. But I'll read the third one at some point just to see how that ends. But not greatly recommended. Then I also listened to, I don't know if you can see this, so hopefully we can get some sort of focus. Yep. A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, which I've never, sorry, come back to me. There we go. I've never listened, well, I tell a lie, I have listened to audiobooks before, but I don't do very well with them. I find it really distracting just to listen. But I listened to this one and loved it. Like, I absolutely loved it. I listened to it when I was walking Juno, and it made me really like audiobooks. And that one is about a siren and a world which accepts that magic exists, but there are still kind of like judgment and things like that, and it's just a great story. A black author, narrated by two black women, and I just loved it. I can't recommend it. I would love to actually pick up the book and read the book as well, so I probably will do that at some point. So yes, that's basically all I read this year, which seems a bit boring and rubbish, but that's kind of life in 2020. So, you know, it is what it is, but I'm going to try and pick up a book at some point this weekend and try and get back into it, because without reading I feel really lost. That being said, I have been writing and working on a lot of other stuff this year, so I don't feel too bad. And I also have been playing a lot of video games, so it's kind of my own fault. But, you know, let me know what you have been reading, if you've had the same, I think I'm out of focus completely over here. You know, if you've had the same experience, let me know. And, you know, I don't know, I didn't really plan this video, so it's probably not the most exciting, but so a couple of things to note that I wanted to throw in here at the end is, yes, I do run my own second-hand bookshop. It's completely online, although I have done one market so far in my local area, but then COVID hit, so we haven't done one since. but hopefully maybe towards the end of the year we'll do another market. And it's called Secondhand Books, so it's secondhandbooks.com except without the vowels, so figure that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. And as far as I can tell, I'm the only secondhand bookshop specialising in children's and young adult literature, so that's my USP. So yeah, that's fun. Check that out. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of this. Maybe those 3 coffees weren't a good idea. And also, audiobook wise, I know a lot of people use Audible. I'm pretty sure that's one of the only ones that people use, but I actually use, and they're kind of affiliated with but not officially yet, Libro FM, and it's a free app and they are much better than Audible. I try not to use Amazon too much for a lot of things, but Libro FM is an independent kind of audiobook thing, and what they do is they link the downloads of audiobooks to independent bookshops. So if you've got an independent bookshop who's signed up with Libro, you can select that as the shop that you're buying the audiobook from, so they get a kickback. And everyone's happy. It supports local businesses, independent businesses, and it takes Amazon, the giant monopoly who ruin the world, out of the equation. So if you're into audiobooks, check that out. I'll leave a link in the description as well. And I will see you again next time. I still have loads of video ideas coming up, but I think maybe my next video will be on the back of this, my TBR pile, because why not torture myself with the books that I have not read yet. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you again next week. Probably I'm going to try and do these weekly, and I'm going to try and plan what I'm going to say and not be so agitated because I've drank all the coffee. I will see you again. I'm sorry.